What is good, defenders, and welcome to your favorite pre-match segment here on Defenders of the Bank. And this is a special one. Very rarely do we get to say this is a one more sleep for something we've never had before, but the Open Cup final. That's right. Scarf's favorite tournament. The Open Cup final comes to BMO Stadium, Sporting Kansas City, LAFC tomorrow, Wednesday, and it is on like Donkey Kong at BMO Stadium. I can't wait. You know my voice. It's the Scarf, J.R. Liebert, and of course, doing this with my partner in pod, the only way we know how to get ready for the U.S. Open Cup final. I would like to say, too, my partner in pod who is finally on the Open Cup train with me now that we've made it to the final, Christian Philly Philemon.
You're damn right I'm on the Open Cup train right now because we're in a final, our second final of the season, our seventh final historically. Not bad for a club that's only been around since 2018, contrary to what anybody else has to say. That's pretty darn good. As you can tell by my hat, if you're watching, I am still in Oktoberfest mode because it lasts a couple of weeks. I've got this beer glass in my hand. I'm feeling festive. Prost eine Prosit der Gemütlichkeit. And hopefully after tomorrow, we can ziggy-zaggy, hoy, 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 all over Sporting Kansas City and lift another mother trucking trophy tomorrow. Let's go.
What died in your glass?
Would you believe me if I told you it was almond milk, peanut butter, and protein powder?
I mean, for someone your age, it looks more like Ovaltine, but we'll go with that. All right.
Oh, of course you would. It would take somebody my age to recognize Ovaltine.
I love it. I love it. Look, we are excited, y'all, because the Open Cup final is at BMO. There will be a trophy to win in the building. And I'm just going to say it now because I'm going to say it on the pod when we record after our victory. Philly, question, is this a matchup of two coaches on the hot seat?
I mean, that's a darn good question. I think Peter Vermees, at the end of the day, has established himself as an institution in Major League Soccer, a very successful head coach with a big, big history in Sporting Kansas City, and also had a very good career as a Major League Soccer player. Steve Cherundolo, on the other hand, still within his infancy as a manager, having to go up against the tactical mindset of Sporting Kansas City and Peter Vermees. By no means is this going to be an easy game, despite where we see Sporting Kansas City on the tables. None of that matters in a cup final because every fighter gets a chance. And keep in mind, Sporting Kansas City has been officially eliminated from postseason play in Major League Soccer. So this is it for them. This is their swan song. This is what it all boils down to. And they're going to be gunning for that fifth U.S. Open Cup trophy because they do have a few. 2004 they won. 2012 they won, 2015 they won, and 2017 they won when they beat the New Jersey Energy Drinks by a score of 2-1. Two players that would have ties to LAFC would score in that game. Latif Blessing would score for Sporting Kansas City, and Bradley Wright Phillips would score for the Energy Drinks, and that would propel Sporting Kansas City to victory. Also, Daniel Shallery scored one, so there you have it. Sporting Kansas City is no stranger to this competition.
Philly, listen, we have to defend the honor of Maccabi, of course, the legendary Los Angeles club that has won Open Cup 5 times, one of 2 clubs that have won Open Cup 5 times. We have to defend their honor as Los Angeles Football Club. I'm right on that one, right? They've won it 5.
How dare you? How dare you forget about the boys from Bethlehem? Bethlehem Steel also has 5 titles.
I hear you, but that doesn't fit the narrative for us needing to defend. We don't care about Bethlehem Steel's honor. We care about Maccabi LA's honor and defending them and making sure that they are one of only 2 clubs that have ever won U.S. Open Cup. That's 5 times. That's something that we have to make sure we do in black and gold. Look, Peter Vermees' boss is Peter Vermees. So I don't know that Peter Vermees is going to fire himself at the end of the season. Maybe he will, maybe he won't. But here's the crazy thing. even though they only have 31 points in 31 MLS Cup games this year, they have already punched a ticket to the CONCACAF Champions League because of what we have done this season. They're already in. That's it. They're gone. So it's crazy to me that that's the fortunes. Maybe he gets to stay because they're playing in CONCACAF Champions Cup next year. It's an interesting time in Sporting Kansas City. That being said, you mentioned it at the top, Philly. This is our seventh final. And we've been guided to most of those by Steve Cherundolo. But over the last couple of weeks, the chirpers have gotten a little bit louder about Steve Cherundolo, his record in the finals, and what that means for his job security if we don't win this one, let alone what happens in the MLS Cup playoffs. I know you have some feelings about it. I'm saying this. If we win this, it's another trophy in our case, and the only coach that's ever won us any has 2 in the last 3 years, and his name is Steve Cherundolo.
I agree. I mean, I don't want to get too much on this like Steve hot seat scenario because to me, I just want to focus on the positivity of things. I talked about how negative vibes are cancer, not only in a front office, a locker room, but of course in a stand as well. We need to eliminate all those doubts and all that negative energy. I fervently believe in the laws of attraction, as you should too. The secret is a thing. I believe in the power of positivity because it takes just as much energy to consider things from a glass half full perspective as it does from a glass half empty. And that's how we need to look into tomorrow's game, with a glass half full approach, because we have a damn good shot at winning a trophy. If it doesn't go that way, all right, we have a whole nother conversation. But right now, we're not thinking about plan Bs or the what ifs. Let's think about the how do we celebrate, because that's good juju. We've been very successful against Sporting Kansas City historically, and particularly recently, Scarf. I mean, granted, a 0-0 tie on March 9th at home, one would indicate not very successful. But if you go back to 2023, we beat them in Children's Mercy Park. We didn't lose to them at all in 2023. In fact, we beat them twice in 2022 as well. So we've looked good against them, although they have been a team on the bet with a better run of form as of late. Our last 5 games, I should say, we haven't won one. We've drawn 2, lost 3. They, on the other hand, have drawn 1, won 2, and lost 2, and they're coming off of a defeat as well against Minnesota United. So they're going to have some tired legs as well. But this is an important match for all clubs. And, Scarf, we talked really quickly about Maccabi Los Angeles. In the chat, I put a link, really cool video in regards to the history of Bethlehem Steel. Need to check that out. Both teams sharing 5 respective titles apiece, but a little bit about the Open Cup, if I may. First match in 1914. Up until COVID, we had 106 years of consecutive play. MLS has obviously been the dominating factor. Shout out to the Rochester Rhinos that beat a Marcelo Balboa Colorado Rapids side at the near turn of the century. So that was awesome. Last time a non-MLS team won, and Sacramento Republic, I think, was the furthest the USL team got in a long time. The champion gets $300,000. For some, that may be a lot. For some, that might not be nothing, but also a spot in the CONCACAF Champions League, which, by the way, we've already maintained. So just a quick little history there. The most successful teams out of Major League Soccer for the U.S. Open Cup historically have been the Seattle Sounders. They have 4. The Chicago Fire, they have 4. And oh, by the way, Sporting Kansas City, they too have 4 of these trophies.
Yeah, and Houston Dynamo have a couple in recent history as well, including beating us the last time we made it as far as the semifinals. It's crazy to think, Philip, that a 120th minute goal from Alan Pulido all the way back on May 8th for Sporting Kansas City to defeat Union Omaha 2-1 is what has propelled this run. They beat Union Omaha 2-1 on May 8th behind that Alan Pulido goal. Then on May 21st, they beat the storied program of FC Tulsa 4-0. In the quarterfinals, they beat FC Dallas.
Did you just say the storied program?
Yes, I did.
All right, just thought I heard you right.
Yeah. They beat FC Dallas 2-1 on July 10th in the quarterfinals. And then Indy 11, a team that, hey, maybe one day we'll see in Major League Soccer if some people have their way. They beat Indy 11 August 27th in the semifinal 2-0. But like you said, this is a club that has been skidding as of late. Not that LAFC has played any better. Philly, you mentioned it. LAFC has as many wins as you and I do in Major League Soccer in our last 4 matches. Well, luckily enough, Sporting Kansas City not playing very well either. 1-2-1 in their last 4 matches. They've only scored 5 goals, and 3 of them have been from Alan Pulido and also Eric Tommy with a brace. But Philly, this is a club. You mentioned common denominators. You mentioned records that go all the way back to 2022 and 2023 and all of our success. Heck, we can even go back to 2021, and there is a triumvirate of common denominators in those seasons. Daniel Shallowy, Johnny Russell, and the old man between the pipes, 38-year-old Tim Melia, who, look, was very, very good in 2020 and 2021, was perfectly fine and serviceable in 2022 and 2023, but has been downright awful in 2024. 50 goals allowed in just 27 matches, only 3 clean sheets. And I am looking forward, Philly, to peppering Tim Melia over and over again as he takes the pipes for the 297th time in a Sporting Kansas City uniform.
The thought just dawned on me as you were talking about common denominators. Let's not also forget the fact that Ilya Sanchez was on that 2017 U.S. Open Cup team. And if I'm not mistaken, I'm pretty sure Benny Feilhaber was too. Yeah, actually, he should have been in 2017. If I'm not mistaken.
Didn't Kai Kamara also win the U.S. Open Cup with Sporting at some point, I think?
That's a great question. I don't have that answer on me as of right now. I would have to look it up. That's a really good point. Kai Kamara spent so much time in Sporting Kansas City. As I'm stalling here, waiting to load up some stuff. Kai Kamara honors U.S. Open Cup was 2012 for Kai Kamara. He was not on the 17 team.
Okay. What team was 2012 for?
Sporting Kansas City.
It was, right? Yeah. So all I said was that he won the Open Cup with Sporting Kansas City.
Oh, my mistake. I could have sworn I heard you say that he
No.
It doesn't matter. All right. I saw somebody in here talked odds. Now, the ESPN bet has LAFC as a -190. If I'm reading this correctly. No, hold on a second. No, a -200, a +475 for Sporting Kansas City. They have a draw at +360. And by the way, in case we do draw, there will be the 30 minutes of extra play prior to any kind of penalty kick shootout. So just keep that in mind. I know LAFC put up a post about that on their social media, which we shared not too long ago. Who had the -217? I don't know. Everybody has their different thing. Bottom line is LAFC is heavily favored in this game, and I don't see why we shouldn't. Let's get into the videotape, as the George Michael Sports Machine would go.
Let's talk about it. Look, Daniel Rosero, some of you might be thinking, did Scarf just pick a center back as his player to watch? I absolutely did, because in their U.S. Open Cup run, Daniel Rosero has 2 goals, and he has started almost every match for them at center back during this run. And a player who I think, look, if they score 2 goals in play in the U.S. Open Cup, they're somebody that we have to watch for. Whether those goals come on set pieces and in the box, whether those goals come on tapping it in after a rebound, it doesn't matter. When you have a center back that scores 2 goals, then you need to keep an eye on it. However, what we also need to force him to do is to defend. Because if you are spending the majority of your time defending, you cannot be a goal scorer for your club on the other end. You will hopefully be dead tired. So what I am hoping we are going to do is to revert Daniel Rosero back to just a defender and not a goal scorer for Sporting Kansas City. So I have Kike Oliveira as my player to watch because he was asked and answered about in the press conference. Kike Oliveira, from what we understand, will be available for this match. And here's my take on Kike Oliveira. more than David Martinez, we need Kike Oliveira. He takes on multiple defenders and now knows what to do with it. Far fewer crosses to absolutely nobody. An absolutely deadly finisher when he is on. Somebody who can run the break along with Denis Bouanga and Matty Bogusz, the best that we have out there on that right side. And I firmly believe if we start the front line of Denis Bouanga, Kai Kamara, and Kike Oliveira, that is going to be all that we need to win this Open Cup, because Kike is going to be on fire. This will be his chance on the big stage to put some more goals in the back of the net so that all those clubs that he wants to move to after the winter transfer window opens up, he will be able to go, because we know that's what he wants. That's my player to watch, Philly. Kike is back.
You mentioned Danny Rosero. Yes, he did score 2 goals, but you could argue that Marinos Tzionis also scored 2 goals, as did Felipe Hernandez, by the way. The player to watch, though, on their side, who is a scoring threat, is Agata, but he's not my player to watch. I love Eric Tommy, and not only because he's a German. Where the hell is the screen, by the way? Not only because he's a German, but he's a great player. I remember his first game, I believe, was against LAFC at the bank on the road. He impressed. My player to watch, man, the guy who scored in the 2017 U.S. Open Cup, Daniel Shalhoub. That's the guy right there, man. The success that Daniel Shalhoub has had for this team historically has been amazing. Granted, he's only got 3 goals this season. Daniel Shalhoub is a very important part of this Sporting Kansas City side. And having had success and tasted glory within this format in this Cup final, he's going to be an important player to watch out for. Success breeds upon success, and he's been successful in this period. And look, it is the low-hanging fruit, but who else? Oh, shoot. Who else but Denis Bouanga, man? I mean, you got Kike Oliveira, so I couldn't use the same thing. I like Oliveira. And by the way, for those of you wondering who is out, the only one that's confirmed is Jesus David Murillo, still out. Nobody's on the questionable list. And nobody should be on the questionable list for Sporting Kansas City. I believe it even in their last game. The only player that was out was Nemanja Radoja, who had a situation with his groin. So they should be at full strength. But for both of these teams to be successful, Daniel Shalhoub is going to have to get it done for Sporting Kansas City. We need Denis Bouanga. Maybe some teams have started to figure him out, but he's still deadly, still can do things. And while y'all have argued that he disappears in big games, this is a big game in which I see him reappearing to take care of business. We don't win without a good game from Denis Bouanga.
LAFC acquiring an international roster spot today, by the way. So who knows what that means in terms of Marlon potentially maybe being available or being in the 18. Look, I know we all have visions of sugar plums dancing in our head with Carlos Vela potentially being available in the 18. We don't know. We'll see. But I have to say this. You're talking about a guy in Daniel Shalhoub, the MVP runner-up, I believe, in Major League Soccer in 2021 when he had 16 goals and 8 assists. Johnny Russell in 2021, 15 goals and 8 assists. Alan Pulido, 14 goals last year. What we keep talking about is players who have underperformed this year. Yes, I know Willie Agata has a career high in 9 goals this year in MLS, and Eric Tommy has a career high in MLS goals with 7, but 9 and 7 don't strike as much fear into the hearts as I know Johnny Russell has, Daniel Shalhoub has, and Alan Pulido certainly can. Look, I would love to see Marlon. I would love to see Carlos Vela, but I got to be honest, I don't want to see them trotting out there if we need something in the 85th minute. I want to see the boys that got us there finish the job a la Cody Rhodes. We'll see what happens. Let's get into our keys to the match. I've got 2, and the first of which is simple. We are at home. We are at home. So that means in the North End for 90 minutes or as long as they have to, we will have the 32-52 in full-throated fervor behind our boys in black and gold. So we need to continue to use the energy of the 32-52 to help propel us forward. These boys have looked dead tired, and in some cases in Carson, absolutely outmanned and frustrated. We need to see the 32-52 carry our boys the way that they have carried us so often on the pitch. We need the 32-52 to be the best they have ever been in this final. There's not a lot of opportunities to play for a final in your own building. And when we get that opportunity, we need to take full advantage of the best asset that this club has off the pitch. And that, of course, is the 32-52. But the second thing we need, I don't want to hear about having lost 5 straight cup finals or 5 straight opportunities to win a trophy. If you don't count the Campeones Cup as a final and just a one-off to win a trophy, it doesn't matter. It's a chance to put silverware in the case. And what we need to do is to make sure these boys come out with a winning mindset. I'm not saying they've come out defeated for some of these games, but what I am saying is maybe once they get down in a match, they start compounding the problem by trying to score 4 goals with 1 soccer ball. We need to have that winning mindset going into this final and know that not only are we at home, but we are the better club, we have the better atmosphere, and we have everything we need in our 18 in order to propel us to the Open Cup victory.
Geez, that's a tough act to follow, but I completely agree. Winning mindset, and that's not only on the pitch, it's got to be in the stands. The 32-52 always brings it. I'm not worried about that. What bothers me is the people that have been, negative about our club, as if we've just had, an absolute crap season, which we have not. Yes, it hasn't been great as of late, but it hasn't been a crap season. Get rid of the negative mentality. I agree. Winning mindset. My key to the game is pull the rabbit out of your hat. Or in this case, the kitty. That's right. Juan Vargas asked about it. Hello Kitty is out. Pull the rabbit out of the hat. The kitty. I got my Hello Kitty headband on from having gone to the Angel City game the other day. Basically what I'm trying to say, even though it was a shameless plug for Hello Kitty, is we need the magic. We need that team to surprise us. We need the magic that we had within the MLS Cup final in 2022. These are 2 teams gunning for a trophy, and while the talent is there, we need the breaks to happen to us. But in order to do that, like Scarf said, we need that winning mindset. We all need to have it in the stands, whether you're on the south end, the north end, Figueroa, premium clubs like Founders, Sunset, Field Club. And by the way, I saw somebody just mention this. Premium sections are affordable for this game. So they're not as expensive as they were for the MLS Cup final. We all need to bring the magic, and we need that magic out of LAFC. The tactics and all that other stuff can argue that get thrown out the door. In a cup final, sometimes a preparation meaning opportunity needs to come out. And what's the definition of preparation meaning opportunity? Luck. Magic has to be there.
You had that Hello Kitty under your hat for like a half hour plus.
I had this Hello Kitty under my hat for 30 minutes plus. I quickly put her in the other hat. In fact,
I appreciate the prop department coming through tonight. That is solid. Didn't know we had that kind of budget for this show. All right.
Oh, man, I am the carrot top of LAFC podcasters. I pull out all the stunts and all the props.
We have
Only
to
I had the guns. Oh, wait a minute. They're there.
Defenders Nation. He just said he's the carrot top. Can we hold him to that for a little bit? I'm saying, Philly, how about this? If we win U.S. Open Cup, can we get ISIS to give you a little carrot top due for the next time you go in? Is that?
Let it be after the USA-Mexico game on Sunday. I have another plan scheduled for that.
Sounds good. Sounds good. Look, let's get into our scoring prediction. I've got this. I've got it pretty simple, and I've got it put away relatively early. Am I counting out Sporting Kansas City a little bit too early? Maybe. But I don't think Sporting Kansas City is in our league. I just don't. I know we both play in Major League Soccer, but I don't think Sporting Kansas City is the club that LAFC is. I simply don't. Yes, they have scored, 49 goals on the season. They are a very good scoring club. But they've given up 58 on the season, which is second worst in the West. And I know they've had a good run of form in the U.S. Open Cup, but it's not like a tournament where you get several games in a row like League's Cup, and you can really feel that momentum build. Like we mentioned, first 2 games were in May. Next game was in July. Last game was August 27th. This isn't a club feeding off the momentum of 4 straight wins. This is a club that has played well enough to find itself in a final. And what I am hoping more than anything else is that LAFC doesn't pull a Tom Brady when Eli Manning walks out onto the pitch and lose a match that they have no business losing. But LAFC needs to finally come to play the way that we know they can come to play. They had plenty of guys resting in Dallas, and they had plenty of players resting while playing on the pitch against Carson just a couple of days ago. So take all that energy, take all that frustration, and use it on Sporting Kansas City, because we need this Open Cup. We need this trophy, and we need to start building momentum towards MLS Cup playoffs.
Lunch Special Geo says, weren't y'all saying it was going to be easy against Dallas? LMAO. My man, I believe you had too much cotton in your ears during that thing. You were a little hard of hearing. I said it was not going to be an easy game because of the history we had and the fact that we hadn't won since Chris Lafferty graced them with their presence back in 2021. So you stand corrected, my friend. Leo, on the other hand, asks, is Philly a wizard? This is my Oktoberfest hat, but if I'm a wizard, I'm going to pull in my inner Gandalf as well as my inner Hugo Lloris, because what Gandalf and Hugo Lloris are going to say to Sporting Kansas City as, you shall not pass. And that's how it's going to go out, folks. They're not going to score. It's going to be us the entire time. 2-0 is what we're winning with. Scarf said it, that we're going to win 3-1. He and I are in agreement with one another, meaning that we will win by 2, but not as a result of them scoring any goals, because our defense is going to take care of business. And Hugo Lloris has had quite a few clean sheets this season, and he will continue to do so, earning himself his first trophy in Major League Soccer and our very first U.S. Open Cup in our very first U.S. Open Cup final.
And we know, Philly, this is going to go right up on the mantle next to his World Cup trophy as his second most cherished trophy that he has ever earned in his playing career. Clearly, that is what it means to Hugo Lloris. That is what it will mean to Maxime Chanot. That is what it will mean to Denis Bouanga. And that is what it will mean to Olivier Giroud. However many players we got that are French-born, let's go. That's what we need. We need all the French help that we can get so that we can win this American tournament trophy. This is going to be a lot of fun. I think, look, my issue is this. I am worried about our boys playing in finals. And I know I'm bringing a little negativity into it. I'm nervous. I'm nervous that it's Sporting Kansas City. And if we lose a trophy to Columbus, if we lose a trophy to Tigres, if we lose a trophy to some of the clubs that we've lost a trophy to, we can look back and say, well, at least it was a damn good club on the other end of it. This one's a little different, folks. We've got to come out and do to them what we should do to them, and I think we will. But I really don't hope that we have to answer an entire podcast of questions from the millions.
And millions.
If somehow Dolo and company is not able to pull this out.
Don't even say that. Look, there's an acronym going on that stands for Los Angeles. What was the fun thing? Oh God, I had a point I wanted to make and I forgot.
Okay. Well, they say
it doesn't matter. LA effing champs. That's what LAFC is going to stand for. There was another negative acronym that I was going to losing another final club. That's what it is. Not going to be the case tomorrow. LAFC does not stand for losing another final club tomorrow. Here's my receipt. Feel free to post it. Hang on to it. Whatever you want to do. LA effing champs, baby. That's what LAFC is going to stand for after tomorrow. We are going to win this. Otherwise, we're going to have a really bad conversation afterwards. But I am fully confident that we are going to do this. Who was it that said they were bringing their kid to the game? I love that because it's going to be a historic, monumental occasion for all of us. And we're going to be happy. And then salty fans across Major League Soccer are going to say, but the U.S. Open Cup doesn't matter. It's going to matter to us because it's going to be another trophy that we're going to put in our case that I believe they're working on. Maybe they haven't approved the prototypes. But that's going to be the story, folks. Tomorrow is going to be a glorious, glorious day. And if you're going to be one of the fortunate ones in attendance, I hope to see you, high five you, toast with you, whatever the case. And for those who can't make it to the game, I know you're going to be there in spirit, whether you're in the heart of Los Angeles, whether you're like Jack Dickens over in England, whether you're like Bam out in Australia, whether you're out there with LAFC Uruguay, wherever we are globally, we are going to celebrate and be in a very jovial, festive mood tomorrow because it's bound to happen. We are due, and it's our time. It's our time to lift a trophy. It's been a little while, although be it not that long. We're doing this, and I'm rambling. I'm sorry. Prost.
Hey, I love it. We're bringing the energy. We're bringing the goals tomorrow, and we're bringing the U.S. Open Cup trophy home. Philly, let's play that sweet outro music.
Oh, I wish I had a little more time to prep for it. But, there it is. Find it. Love y'all, defenders. We'll see you tomorrow. Let's freaking go.
Go to our shop.